Welcome to Music Legends and the stories behind them. Today we will be giving you an insight into one of the best, brightest, talented, and most influential music producers this world has ever seen, Quincy Jones. On the south side of Chicago, in the heat of the Great Depression, a young boy named Quincy Delight Jones Jr. was learning that the world was a dangerous place. His mother suffered from mental illness and was institutionalized early. His father, a carpenter for the mob, moved the family to Washington State to escape the cycle of violence. I wanted to be a gangster until I was 11. I'd seen people shot, stabbed, but then I found a piano. At a community center in Bremerton, Quincy broke into a room and saw a spinet piano. One touch changed his DNA. By 14, he was playing trumpet in Seattle clubs. It was there he met a 16-year-old blind pianist named Ray Charles. Ray taught Quincy how to write music in Braille and how to arrange. Together, these two teenagers promised each other they would conquer the world. By the mid-1950s, jazz was the heartbeat of a generation. But for a young Quincy Jones, the rhythm of the road was becoming a restless grind. Outside the window, America blurred by in a streak of rain and neon. He carried his trumpet like a passport to a world he hadn't yet mapped. Night after night, the smoky air of underground clubs became his sanctuary. The music was raw, electric, and deeply personal. On stage, he was a force of nature. But beneath the applause, a question lingered. How could he bridge the gap between instinct and architecture? He found himself staring at scores that felt like puzzles. He knew the notes, but he craved the foundation upon which they were built. The hunger for deeper knowledge wasn't just a whim. It was a necessity for the composer he was destined to become. In 1957, that hunger led him across the Atlantic. He traded the familiar jazz circuits of the States for the misty streets of Paris. Paris was a revelation, a city where art breathed in the cobblestones, and every cafe felt like a classroom for the soul. Here he was free from the rigid boxes of the American industry. He was simply a student of the world, absorbing everything. His destination was the Paris Conservatory, a bastion of tradition where the masters of classical music had paved the way. Inside those hallowed halls, the air was thick with the echoes of piano scales and the weight of centuries of theory. Quincy sat at the keys, not as a jazz star, but as a humble apprentice ready to dismantle everything he thought he knew. It was here that he met the woman who would change the course of his life, the legendary Nadia Boulanger. She was a master of discipline, a woman who saw music as a divine science. To her, there was no room for accidents. "Your music is beautiful," she told him, "but beauty without structure is a house built on sand." Her words were a wake-up call. Under her wing, Quincy began to see the architecture of music. He learned the mathematics of counterpoint and the physics of harmony. The jazz he loved didn't disappear. It evolved. It gained a backbone, a clarity that allowed his creativity to soar higher than ever. Paris was no longer just a city. It was the crucible where the street-smart trumpeter was forged into a master composer. He was ready to return to America and build the sounds that would define the next half-century of music. The awakening was complete. The world was about to hear a new kind of Quincy Jones. "1966. Las Vegas. The City of Lights was at its peak, but for Quincy Jones, the real magic happened in the shadows of the sands. It was here that the cue and the voice forged a partnership that would redefine cool for a generation. Frank Sinatra, at the zenith of his powers, commanded the room with effortless charm. Behind him, the engine of the performance was Quincy Jones, conducting the Count Basie Orchestra with a blend of jazz precision and a new kind of swing. It wasn't just a professional collaboration, it was a brotherhood built on mutual respect. Sinatra gifted Quincy a family crest ring, a symbol of trust. In the heavy grain of this era, a lasting legacy was being etched into musical history. Rehearsals were masterclasses in chemistry. Between the brassy charts and the shared laughter, they weren't just making music, they were capturing lightning in a bottle, turning candid studio moments into the blueprints for the 20th century's sound. By 1978, the rhythm of the world had changed. The neon of Vegas gave way to the gritty electric pulse of Los Angeles. Quincy was stepping into a new revolution, walking through the doors of Westlake Recording Studios to meet his next great challenge. Inside, a young Michael Jackson was discovering the limits of his own genius. Under Quincy's guidance, raw energy met calculated brilliance. Every gesture in that vocal booth was a step toward a sound that would soon ignite dance floors across the globe. Off the Wall was more than an album, it was a manifesto. As the vinyl spun, the world felt the shift. The production was sharper, the groove was deeper, and the atmosphere inside Westlake was nothing short of electric. Quincy acted as the architect of sound, meticulously layering every horn section and bass line. In the quiet hours, through curls of smoke, he worked with an architectural focus, building a sonic landscape that had never been heard before. Then came the storm of Thriller. Westlake Studio A became the epicenter of a global phenomenon. Rain lashed against the windows as the red recording light signaled the birth of an era that would change the music industry forever. One slide of a fader, and the iconic beat of Billie Jean took hold. It was the sound of the future arriving all at once, a peak of production that pushed both the technology and the artists to their absolute breaking point. Michael and Quincy worked until the lines between producer and artist blurred into pure inspiration. Together, they crafted a masterpiece that transcended genre and race, creating the best-selling album the world had ever seen. The gold and platinum records were mere reflections of the brilliance within. Quincy Jones had reached his zenith. Standing alone in the glow of his creation, he knew he had redefined the very sound of the 20th century. In the winter of 1985, a quiet revolution took place in a Los Angeles studio. Quincy Jones summoned the world's biggest stars to record "We Are the World." His instruction was legendary: check your ego at the door. This wasn't just about music, it was about the power of collective humanity. Standing at the podium, he didn't just conduct a choir, he steered the spirit of an era. His eyes, filled with focus and compassion, saw a world that could be healed through song. Quincy Jones unified voices that had never shared a room, creating a legacy of global giving. The impact rippled from the studio to the furthest corners of the globe. Grainy footage of crowded streets and hungry children began to change as the world listened. Quincy proved that a producer's reach could extend far beyond the charts, touching lives and saving souls through pure empathy. As the 90s dawned, the chief architect expanded his empire into every corner of the media landscape. In high-end boardrooms overlooking the city, Quincy envisioned a new kind of cultural dialogue. He launched Vibe magazine, giving a sophisticated voice to the burgeoning hip-hop generation. His eye for talent remained unparalleled. On the sets of Hollywood, he mentored a young Will Smith, helping to birth the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Quincy saw the potential for global stardom in urban culture, blending street energy with mainstream television to change entertainment forever. His cinematic reach was equally profound. Whether producing The Color Purple or collaborating with Oprah Winfrey, Quincy centered stories with a grace and scale never seen before. He was building an empire that wasn't just about profit, but about representation and profound narrative power. Quincy never feared the future. As technology shifted, he embraced the digital revolution with the same curiosity he brought to his first trumpet. He bridged the gap between the analog past and the digital future, ensuring that rhythm would always evolve with the times. In his later years, the fire of his genius became a warm, serene glow. An elder statesman of the world, Quincy looks back with a knowing smile. He has seen the world change because he was the one changing it. His wisdom is etched into every line of a life lived at full volume. Look into those eyes. They contain the history of modern music. Behind him, a library of gold records and historical photos stands as a testament to a dominance that spanned 7 decades. He was the connector, the bridge builder, the man who saw the melody in everyone. As the sun sets over Los Angeles, a single silver trumpet rests on a leather chair. The music has found its rest, but the resonance remains. The city lights twinkle like the countless stars he guided, a quiet tribute to a man who started with nothing and ended with everything. 1933 to 2024, a century of soul. The architect has left the building, but his blueprint for greatness remains. Quincy Jones, the eternal master of the human heart. His final note echoes into the silence of history, forever vibrating in the music of our lives. Thanks for joining us in the bar tonight. We hope you enjoyed these stories behind the legends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay tuned for our next episode. See you next time.